He's finally gone and done it, ladies and gentlemen! He's finally gone and impregnated Faith! The Demonbaby is about to be born! The Demonbaby! It's the coming of Satan! It's Damien and the Omen all over again! And I feel like the priest is gonna be pushed from the fucking church spire. All hope has gone! The Demonbaby! Only one person can save us from this. Only one person can stop the Demonbaby from coming into this world. I'm calling on you, Shannon! You can't allow the second coming of Damien! You can't allow the Omen to be real! You can't allow it. Because what we're in this moment in time is the most fucked up part of the timeline. The part that we all knew was coming. We all knew he'd knock her up. But we didn't know how soon, quite frankly. I thought he was going to wait till at least Christmas. Alas, we're in this moment in the timeline where the baby could be born in what, March? What a disaster! She's pregnant. The child bride is pregnant with Ethan Ralph, the alcoholic felon's baby. The Demonbaby will be spawned yet again into this world. Now, I'm going to find this article, so bear with me. Now, there was an article that Ethan Ralph wrote shortly before going live here today, where we cry and lose ourselves over the Demonbaby that's about to be born into this world. But he's written an article called Father of the Year, right, where he's calling out Matthew Vickers and he's making these declarative statements that, yes, the Demonbaby will be born. Holy fuck. Now, whether or not the baby was conceived on a bed of thorns, whether or not it was conceived within the witching hour, whether or not Shannon was at the bedside sacrificing a goat, all remains to be seen. We need to find our bookmarks here. Holy shit, ladies and gentlemen, the Demonbaby. We're going to get into all of my thoughts on this, because I've got serious thoughts as well as fucking off-the-wall Bumblebee thoughts. But there just comes a point now where I'm just sort of thinking, Christmas is coming, winter is coming, this situation still isn't resolved, and with every passing day, a new low seems to be being breached. And also, Ethan Ralph is still continuing to Thanos snap this innocent family. Now, we've got the article pulled up. It's called Father of the Year. We're going to get into this. He promises me it's going to be a 3-minute read. Alas. Let's go. The kill stream has been the biggest and most successful thing I've ever done online. Let's just, that's not even the full end of the sentence, but let's just get into that. The kill stream has been the biggest and most successful thing I've ever done online. The Killstream's #1 achievement was attempting to drive Mundane Matt into suicide. Its second biggest achievement is being the platform where Ralph can be a lolcow. Everyone watches to see what Ralph does. How Ralph fucks himself up this time. That's essentially the biggest and most successful thing that Ralph has ever done. It's to the point now where the Killstream is banished to D-Live, where there's not even a real currency to be grifted. We're talking lemons, 0.0012 of a cent. The biggest and most successful thing I've ever done. My fucking God. Anything would be bigger and more successful than this. A job at McDonald's would be bigger and more successful than this. Being Shannon Gaines would be bigger and more successful than this. Holy shit. Let's just continue. We're not even finished the first sentence. He says, but it wasn't my first known venture. What was your first known venture, Ralph? Raping that 13-year-old girl behind the back of an Arby's there? What was the first venture of Ethan Ralph? Holy fuck. What? He goes, right, let's just read it. The kill stream hasn't been the biggest and most successful thing I've ever done online, but it wasn't my first known venture. You're on that one right now. So he's referring to the blog. He barely updates with these remedial blogs that have been written by a child. The syntax, the grammar, the lexicography of all of this is just garbage. It's like an angst-ridden teen has written this. Or dare I say, a gunted alcoholic has written this. He says, I feel bad about letting this place stay dormant these past couple of months. Again, we're with the LARPing journalist pretense. The pantomime that Ralph's Hunter S. Thompson. Alright, let's just put our tinfoil hats on. Let's believe that we're in the fucking Twilight Zone and believe that Ethan Ralph is a serious Pulitzer Prize winning journalist. Holy fuck. But the show, in my rocky personal life, has taken up most of my time. No shit. Also, the understatement with which he says rocky personal life, that does not carry within it all of the incredibly fucked up things that have been going on over the past few weeks. Rocky personal life. As though this happens to many people. As though many people release... Well, we'll get into this, because he brings up some crazy stuff. He says, the situation is what brings me here in the first place, actually. Whenever I'm feeling like shit, I just want to vent and start typing. Because even after almost 700 kill streams, fuck me, the written word is how I really express my thoughts. Double fuck me. It's cathartic for me. So we already know, right? So he's admitting to you in the first paragraph there that he's psychologically broken. That his speech, his tongue, his fat little mouth cannot express adequately his thoughts and feelings on the subject at hand. So he's writing this pissy little emo blog for us all to read. And be in no doubt, this isn't going out to fans or gold star callers of the kill stream there. It's going out purely to the A-logs, purely to us, to mock and belittle and to entertain from the back of. I don't know why he does this, but keep it up. I love shit like this. I love screeds like this. I love seeing a man's own words that I can pick apart. Because it's, for a start, even you saying this stuff is just completely unbelievable to me. You know, I've never seen you talk this way you write, like most people do. Usually writing and speech is a natural extension of how people write. Alas, we're in the situation where Ethan Ralph both writes like a child and yet still speaks worse than his written texts. But yeah, 700 kill streams, terrible achievement, awful achievement. For every kill stream he's made, he should spend a day in prison, quite frankly. Now we get into the meat and taters of the article, ladies and gentlemen, where he names the parents, he brings Matt Vickers' wife into this, and let's just fucking go! Matthew Vickers and his wife Ariana have spent the better part of the last 2 months spreading baseless claims using the Godwinson terminology. I'm glad you watched the debate, Ralph, with myself and JMK. Maybe you were rooting for JMK, your former gun host. Who knows? But it's amazing to me that he peppers his phraseology with my words to try and make it, what, to dog whistle to me, Ralph? To try and get me to cover this? Because I will cover it regardless of what you put in, you know, because this is laughable. Matthew Vickers and his wife Ariana have spent the better part of the last 2 months spreading baseless claims and accusations about me online in retaliation for me dating their daughter. Alright, dating their daughter? Is that what he's calling it? Dating their daughter? Revenge porning a sex tape on her? Sticking your pig hoof into a dirty starfish is dating the daughter, right? Dating the daughter is keeping her prisoner in the crack shack with your dying mother next door? Dating your daughter is keeping her shackled to Kingdom Hearts, day in, day out. That's literally how we know Faith is still alive, right? We're constantly looking up Ralph's fucking PS4 account to see if the girl is still alive there, because the only activity that seems to be on the account is endless and endless hours of Kingdom Hearts. That's how we know Faith is still alive. Once that stops, God knows what's going to happen. Welfare check? Reality check? Who knows? But that's not dating their daughter. That's abusing and coercing their daughter, right? But as we're going to get into this, I'm going to put the green light on Faith now. Like, no longer am I even going to give her the benefit of the doubt here, really. We'll get into what he says just immediately after, and then I'll give my hot, fucking sizzling take. Faith, instead of actually giving a fuck about Faith, the parents have waged a campaign of public destruction against me and my show. Since I am literally known for being an asshole and arguably a piece of shit, that's not even in doubt. You are a piece of shit and then you're an asshole, but that's not a point of pride. That's a point of pride that maybe pedophiles and rapists and serial killers and the Jeffrey Dahmers and the fucking Dennis fucking Nilsons of the world carry as a badge of honor. So it's crazy to me that you want to be leagued in that category, but there we go. You're a piece of shit and an asshole. He says, since I am literally known for being an asshole and arguably a piece of shit, it really hasn't had that much of an effect on the kill stream itself. Has it not? Has it not? Not only are you trying to drive your own show into the ground by not addressing your fucked up personal situation, you're talking about NBA with Gator and 9/11 with Ryan Dawson, and even then you're too pussy to keep that show up. Not only are you doing that and just tanking your own show into the ground, because I don't want to address the drama, Gator. Yeah, they're all lay-logs. It's an army of spurgs. Not only are you doing that, but also you're being Ethan Ralph on the daily. You yourself are tanking your own show. And the fact that you're saying, oh, it's had no effect on the kill stream, Matt, no! It has. It had a tangible, visible, evident effect on the kill stream. To the point where you yourself are screaming at the end of each show, the only way I'm going down is if I die! You're threatening suicide by cop before the kill stream gets cancelled. You are psychologically broken. You're writing stuff like this. It's had no effect on the kill stream, really, no. Really. Holy fuck. And we're all privy to the crisis meetings you're having with Shannon and Bibble in Fagmenko every time you go live, and Warski there trying to damage control and, oh, we can't address this! We can't do it! We know what you're doing, Ralph, and it's shameful. It's shameful. Alright, so, but I would be lying to you if I said it hasn't had an effect on her and I. Of course, I think it's had more of an effect on you personally, Ralph, because you had to write a statement within a group Discord to try and get Faith to disown her parents. It's had more of an effect on you to the point where you're naming me in these statements. An army of spurgs! Yeah, come on, Ralph, as if that's her parlance, as if that's her candor. It's you, purely speaking. But again, we're going to get into how Faith is also sinking in my estimations here. He says, to make a long story short, to present a very twisted version of the narrative, their daughter has chosen to live with me and they simply cannot handle it. She's pregnant with my child and they can't accept it. Holy fuck! The Demonbaby! She's pregnant with my child and she can't accept it. So, whereas Faith was, prior to Ralph releasing this information, the primary victim in all of this, now she's perfectly willing to bring an innocent child into this mess. Take aside the fact that it's Ethan Ralph, take aside the fact that it's Faith Vickers that are doing this, just look at the situation as it stands. They're going to introduce a child into a homestead that barely has enough room for the three of them. They're going to introduce a child into being in the presence of a father who's a chronic alcoholic, who doesn't have a stable job, who doesn't have a career to speak of, who has no marketable skills, who literally subsists and lives off lemons, which are 0.0000012 of a cent, right? So already the financial situation is fucked. Already it's incredibly selfish to bring this child, the Demonbaby, into this environment, because this child will, 9 times out of 10, grow up to be another Ethan Ralph. Let's be real. Secondly, we've got now an innocent child, a Demonbaby, which will be born on the Sabbath, a black Sabbath, but which will be born and deserves to see its grandparents, regardless of the personal animus that Ethan Ralph has towards Matt and his wife. It doesn't have to bear any weight on them being able to see their own grandchild. Is that just me? Is that just me being a normal human being? But no, he's going to carry an internet beef. He's going to carry... You were interviewed by Godwinson. You're friends with Godwinson. You think that Godwinson is the son-in-law you wish you had. He's going to carry that personal beef into the 18 years of this child's life. And let's be real, right? Let's just look at it from an objective perspective. Ralph isn't going to be around for 18 years of this child's life. He's either going to drink himself into a coma and then death. He's going to be behind bars, or he's just going to take off. He's not going to be around. Let's be real. The amount of time that Ralph is going to be in this child's life is going to be minimal. I'll be amazed if he even sticks around to the point where it's even being born before he's throwing out, well, it's the halfway cook's kid. I didn't impregnate that stinky starfish. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. All I can say is what a lucky escape Nora had. At least Nora was far across the Atlantic to carry the demon baby with inside her womb. At least that never transpired, where we had the mixed race demon baby who's going to run for president, like Damien from The Omen. Like Sam Neill in The Omen. Okay, so it carries on. She's pregnant with my child. No! And they can't accept it. Despite Faith herself publicly asking them to stop with their provocations. Now, he's linked this to the statement. And it wasn't Faith herself doing that. Like, it was clearly a written statement by Ethan Ralph, using all of Ethan Ralph's words and phrases and actions and behaviours. But okay, let's just pretend and say that it was purely Faith that did that. They refuse. The parents are sick people and seem to be enjoying this whole thing, really. How can Ethan Ralph sit there as that woman is bearing her entire soul, is crying, is breaking not just her husband's heart, but my heart, and the various neets that were watching that interview? How can Ralph sit there and call them enjoying this whole effect? It's not enjoyable for them. It's not enjoyable for them. And now the fact that you're introducing a demon baby that you're going to stop them having access to, that is appalling. That genuinely is scum of humanity tier. That child, it's not even born yet, but when that child is born, you have no business stopping that child from seeing her maternal grandparents. You just have no business doing that. Over an internet beef, right? Over you being a degenerate criminal evil, you're going to stop these well-meaning parents, grandparents, from seeing their unborn grandchild. What a piece of shit. He says the cretinous Spurg who calls himself a father is now plotting to write a book about this whole affair. If he does write a book, I'll fund it. And I'll get him in contact with people who could publish that book. I'll do that. If Matt writes the book, I'll do my very best to get it published. I guess that will make up for the shitty screenplays he's been writing all these years. If Matt's been writing screenplays, if Mr. Vickers has been writing screenplays, let's make them, man. Honest to God. We can make this. We can get it on Amazon Prime and Netflix. I guarantee you, Matt. We'll be fucking stars, baby. We'll be rising big in Hollywood there. Looking down on the Gunt and his child bride and the Demonbaby. And maybe we can remake The Omen again. Maybe we can do another 2006 reboot. Yet again of The Omen. Like 99.9% of the population, you have probably never read a Matthew Vickers screenplay, but now he has me to write about. People finally care about his own words. The E-fame is within reach. First of all, if Matt Vickers has actually sat down and written the greatest film of our time, that's still lying in a drawer somewhere, waiting for me, the Kubrick of Nectar and Kino to come along and make it a reality, then that just goes to show that Matt Vickers is an amazing, gifted genius, an untapped well of talent, whose own ability and artistic integrity stems further than screaming, "Matt, no!" and then trying to drive mundane Matt into suicide. But Mr. Vickers clearly has a body of work and some achievements behind him that he could put in front of a prospective producer to get made. And more props to Matt Vickers. I hope it's akin to like a Taken sequel or a Death Wish sequel. Because we can get the show on the road. We can make this. I can get a team of mine together and we can fly out to wherever Mr. Vickers and his family are, and we will... Alright, let's just finish this. The camera clearly isn't well, but we need to continue finishing the article. He says this piece of trash doesn't give a single fuck about his daughter. Who writes stuff like this to their kids? Certainly not a level-headed and caring individual, that's for sure. Oh, and in public he tries to portray her as mentally ill, but in private he sends nasty letters dripping with scorn and derision. He's a phony, plain and simple. I mean, do we need to even get into the fact that during that statement she gave, she says she's not mentally ill and then proceeds to list a litany of mental illnesses? Do we need to get into the fact that Ralph is far worse than whatever the father is doing to try and get her daughter some help? Do we need to even get into the fact that Ralph released a sex tape exposing this poor man's daughter's starfish to the whole world? Do we even need to get into the whole catalogue of faults that Ralph is responsible for? My eyes simply cannot read how far this... they can't read the small print on this screenshot that Ralph has linked, but I'm assuming it's some, like, email that Matt has decided to write to Ralph. My eyes, I need to get my glasses on to do that, and I'm just not. I'm not even going to give Ralph the benefit of the doubt. So he says, and this is apparently what he wants, by the way. Mr. Vickers wants more dirty laundry, more back and forth allegations. It feeds it all, which I'm well aware of. Monitoring situations like this is actually my job, and has been for a long time. But at a certain point, what can you do? If monitoring situations like this is Ralph's job, he's clearly not very good at it, right? He's clearly not very good because he's not learned from any of the mistakes that have preceded him. In fact, I would say that he himself is far worse than any sort of kraut, mundane Matt, or even Sargon tier shit that was being pulled in the past, because this is far worse. More dirty laundry, more back and forth allegations. Well, from what I can see, Mr. Vickers' allegations aren't that. If anything, they're facts and truth and light being spread and shone on your darkness, on your black soul there, Ethan Ralph. But what can we say? He says at a certain point, what can you do? So essentially he's saying, this is going to carry on for 18 years? You're not going to see the Demonbaby? He says, I don't think I'll have anything to add going forward. I'm sure you will, Ralph, because how many times have we had the final word on a subject and you've just gone on to do one of these, or gone on to do a show, or even gone on to do a show where you've got a mugshot of Josh's mother, generous Josh's mother, staring down the lens to try and expose Josh as an evil piece of shit. So it's not the end, clearly. He says, Faith is pregnant. No! And they are apparently determined to fuck with us the whole way through. So where have they even said that they're going to fuck with a child? Only you would bring a child into this for a win, Ralph. Only you would do this. He says, still, I thought it would be good to throw a little light on the vindictive Vickers duo for a change. Does anything further need to be said? Do people want another fucking interview where I bring the parents on and we respond to this in perpetuity? Whilst I don't think that's the greatest idea, I think at this point, what have they got to fucking lose? Matt Vickers could walk up to someone on Fifth Avenue and put a bullet in their brains, and he would still come off hands cleaner than Ethan Ralph. Faith and I have cut all contact with them now, but who knows what they have in store. The law! The law is in store! Maybe Fat Matt. Is this how low we are at this point, Ralph? Maybe Fat Matt has a musical he wants to make about the whole affair. I would fucking love that. Guys and Gunts, Gunts and Dolls, West Gunt story. Let's make it, Mr. Vickers. Or he could crowdfund an indie game. An indie game! This Renaissance man, Mr. Vickers. So we're gonna bring out the fucking Hollow Knight of IBS with Mr. Vickers. I cannot wait. Maybe open up a Patreon or some shit and print up some merch. She's already mentioned that, by the way. The options are limitless for a scumbag like him. Again, you've got a bottom of the barrel alcoholic who lives with his mother, calling someone else a scumbag. You've got a man who eats burgers from the trash, calling someone a scumbag. You've got a man who will openly and proudly go after someone's children, calling someone a scumbag. So, imagine trying to grift off the back of your own daughter's tragedy. Is there a lower form of human besides pedophiles? I certainly can't think of any off the top of my head. Ethan Ralph is a lower form of human. Look within, Ralph. Look in the fucking mirror and you can see exactly what you're describing there with your own words. But that's the reality for Mr. Vickers. I know I make a lot of noise about going low, but this fucker has taken the proverbial cake and scarfed it down in one whole sitting. This has been my life the last 2 months. So this has always been your life. You've always been a piece of shit scumbag alcoholic. This is how you've always been. You know, it's to the point now where even your own father has decided to emigrate to a trailer park in Canada in shame because he cannot simply stand to have people recognize him as the person who sired you, Ethan Ralph. This has been my life for the past 2 months. Oh, I mustn't forget the people taking pot shots from every direction imaginable. Every opportunistic, no-talent hack. Dummy Pesos, he's naming you here. He's exposing your nose here, dummy. Yeah! Oh, get her no! Every opportunistic, no-talent hack you can think of has come out and tried to prop themselves up of my situation and the Vickers' lies. Supposed friends have taken shots. Dummy, no! Get her no! Monday math, what will he do? Ah! Supposed friends have taken shots, randoms in my mentions, with this nonsense on the daily. I would be lying to you if I said it was fun. It's tiring, and it's meant to be. You've psychologically broken me. They hope to wear me down, and if it wasn't such a spiteful son of a bitch, and if I wasn't such a spiteful son of a bitch, they probably already would have. So already he's confirming here that he's spending nights with the shotgun barrel within his own mouth, contemplating to sunset it all. You know, their hate, while annoying and sometimes even detrimental, is also my fuel. This is the point, right? Every time someone says your hatred fuels me, Jahans used to say it constantly whilst eating a small pie and declaring war on Paul, right? Every time some crazy bastard says your hatred fuels me, it's over. It's done. Your hatred fuels me, Ralph. Come on. Why don't you just start whipping out your bitch tits, Ralph, and start screaming, feast, wank off, UKIP voters. Feast upon my grotesque body horror tits. Why don't you just do that, Ralph? Because there's no low you can stoop to now. You're beneath Jahans at this point, and Jahans is a self-admitted cannibal. By God! So the line he signs off with is literally, by God, you motherfuckers, I now have a full fucking tank, and it's about time to hit the open road. Your hatred fuels me, Ethan Ralph, Father of the Year. What more is there to say? He's done, he's finished. People want me to continue, right? Continue bringing in Sargon, bringing in Vaush, people I'm speaking to now, who've got personal animuses against Ethan Ralph, from all spectrums of the political divide, all spectrums of the political divide are willing to stab Ethan Ralph in the back. We've even got the fake lawyer now turning Judas, turning Snake, and willing to do interviews with the A-Logs. The only way I'm going to interview Nick Recator is if I'm allowed to have John Michael Kelly asking the hard questions. John Michael Kelly, for all of his faults, has still been the number one A-Log of Nick Recator. And there should be no reality where we embrace Nick Recator, the fake lawyer, the nose who's been exposed. There's no way we should enable him to protect his own grift at the expense of not asking him questions about the crimes and the things he's been complicit within. He's co-signed everything prior to last night when Ralph told him not to tweet. Everything has been fine for him, right? All of this has been fine. The platforming of pro-pedophiles and the cuties guys, all of this nonsense that Ralph has been caught up in, even releasing the sex tape received the most mealy-mouthed disavowal. So when Racket's Risotto did defect, it would look somewhat convincing. It's not convincing. It doesn't wash with me. You're a Judas, a snake. Only way he's going to be interviewed is if John Michael Kelly is also alongside, asking the hard questions. Holy fuck! I can't believe we're in this situation now where there's so many gunt capos defecting. I've even got a gunt capo who's very close to Ralph, who's been trying to defect almost at the top of every single week. For the past month, he's been trying to defect to me at the top of every week. It's someone you all know, but it's just not going to wash. I'm not going to allow this to happen. I'm not going to redeem this person, because this person's been redeemed so many fucking times now that any endorsement from me would instantly backfire. No, you can carry on trying to snake. I'll use all your information. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to defect. I'm not going to allow you to defect, even. This isn't the Cold War. It's not Tinker Tailor Soldier Gunt. There's no side to defect to. There's no Russian apartment where you can haul yourself up for the rest of your life. It's Ralph or bust. And I hope a lot of you go bust. And there we go. Super Sargon. Venerable Vaush. Shoe on head. Who's next in the Godwinson repertory? Maybe we're gonna do the audio play of Mr. Vickers' screenplays. Maybe that's what's next. Who knows? Stay tuned, because what's on here, what's on this side, is far more entertaining, and let's be real, far better than what's going on with Ralph and his side. Juice!